While some of the major plot points remain intact, the creators of the show took some serious liberties with source material. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 differences between the Gossip Girl books and TV show. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the biggest changes that were made when adapting this story for our viewing pleasure. Number 10. Dan has a gay storyline.
I don't even know why I'm pretending to think about it. Yes. Yes, of course.
On TV, Gossip Girl was known for pushing boundaries, but the books are actually much racier.
Oops.
While Dan begins his story arc in the same way in both the book and the show, by having a massive crush on Serena, in the books this fizzles out pretty quickly, and he goes on to have a variety of romantic entanglements throughout the series.
You're really big on plausible deniability. Has anybody ever told you that?
Do you want to explain to someone why we went somewhere together?
In the book Would I Lie to You, which is the 10th in the series, Dan starts a literary salon and goes through a period of thinking he might be gay after he has an encounter with a coworker. Number 9. Chuck's family.
I'm Chuck Bass.
While many of the characters undergo major personality changes between the books and the show, perhaps none is more obvious than Chuck's.
Maybe there's hope for you yet.
In the book series, Chuck has very few redeeming qualities, and plays a much more minor character than on the show. In general, the Gossip Girl books feature far fewer storylines involving the teen's parents, and Chuck's family situation is almost never mentioned.
They should be yellow roses. They were my mother's favorite.
He lives with both his parents, whereas in the show, there is a plot point about how his mother supposedly died in childbirth. To be honest, we probably could have done without so much Bart Bass on the show.
What are you doing? We're almost there. Everyone's waiting. I'm sure they're gonna have a backup offer lined up. Would you just leave me alone?
Number 8. Vanessa Is Bald.
You can read about it all day long, but you have to walk the city to know it.
On the show, Vanessa's alternative style extends about as far as some brightly printed clothes. But in the books, her physical appearance is totally different. Book Vanessa shaves her head bald and wears all black, and it's often implied that she struggles with her weight.
Even cold, these are so good. I've missed Rufus's cooking. I have.
She also attends Constance Billard with the rest of the girls, on a scholarship, so she has much more of a front row seat to the action. She still has a complicated will they, won't they relationship with Dan, but she has a lot more going on in her life.
So is it weird having me back?
No, why would it be weird?
Also, at one point in the books, Blair actually moves into Vanessa's apartment. Definitely can't see that happening. Number 7. Bass Industries.
You said this was a family business. What happened to us being partners?
On the show, Chuck's family business, Bass Industries, is involved in many plot lines, especially after his father dies and control of the company is up for grabs.
Please, son.
In the books, though, Bass Industries literally doesn't exist. In fact, Chuck's future prospects in the novel series don't look so bright. He doesn't do well in school, and ultimately doesn't get into any of the colleges he applied to. Because of his behavior, there's actually a risk of him getting sent to military school by his dear old mom and dad. Basically, Chuck Bass from the novels wishes there was a Bass Industries.
Bass Industries needs to be run by a man, not a boy. You've never grown up. Maybe you can start now.
Number 6. Lily and Rufus.
Oh, Rufus. Oh my gosh. That is so good.
Like we said earlier, the gang's parents don't get a lot of attention in the books, and typically act as stereotypical foils for whatever antics their kids are getting up to.
I was planning on sneaking out before anyone got up, but Lily and I got to bed so late.
Oh, that's just stop there.
Right.
That means that one of the viewer's favorite on-screen relationships doesn't actually exist in the source material. In the books, Lily Vanderwoodson is still married to Serena's father, and is not a major character.
Well, now that this is all out in the open, maybe we can stop sneaking around. I mean, we've had the awkward run-in and it isn't so bad. I don't know why we thought this would be so weird.
Rufus is similarly insignificant in the books, making appearances solely to embarrass his kids and hang out in their apartment looking disheveled. We've gotta say, this change was definitely a welcome one. Number 5. The Humphreys lived on the Upper West Side.
We're Humphreys, Dad. Not exactly royalty uptown.
We all know that Gossip Girl primarily takes place on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, but in the books, the Humphrey family didn't live all that far outside the upper-class bubble.
Oh, Danny boy, how was your day?
He's about to hype dinner.
Because no matter how good it was, it's about to get a lot better. I've outdone myself with the bolognese.
In fact, their apartment was just across Central Park on the Upper West Side. This makes a lot more sense in terms of how easily everyone seems to get around, because Brooklyn, where they live in the show, is far.
How have you never heard of Olivia Burke? Come on, I thought you lived in Brooklyn, not a cave.
Perhaps housing costs had increased so much in the years between the publication of the books and the release of the show that their original neighborhood was no longer in their price range. Number 4. Eric is totally different.
I'm gay. And so are you.
The character of Serena's brother, Eric, is one of the instances where the show creators decided to take a basic concept, that Serena had a brother named Eric, and run with it in their own way.
I'm your sister. We're us. Tell me anything.
In the books, Eric, with a K, is older than Serena and is a student at Brown University.
Gossip Girl was right. Asher was kissing someone this morning. Me.
He's a much more minor character, only appearing every now and then, except at one point when he becomes a love interest for Blair. While Eric in the novels felt like little more than an archetype, the showrunners really did something special with Eric on screen, crafting a character whose storyline and personality undeniably added to the series' appeal.
I know this isn't how you wanted this to happen.
I guess the important thing is that it's happening.
I'm so proud of you.
Number 3. Blair's bulimia.
Right now, you either eat or you leave the table.
I told you I'm not hungry.
Blair from the books and TV Blair are actually quite similar, with the exception of one big difference. In the earlier novels, she suffers from an eating disorder that is a big part of her character's identity.
The canapes were a huge success. I saved one for you, Blair.
I'm not really hungry.
Well, what does that mean, you're not really hungry?
Well, I had like 15 of them this morning when Daddy first made them.
She purges after nearly every meal and has what could be described as textbook bulimia. On the show, however, her condition is largely absent, though her dangerous relationship with food is referenced in Season 1's Thanksgiving episode, where she's seen binge eating a pie when she's upset, along with flashbacks of past binging and purging. Honestly, the omission of this storyline throughout the show seems like a missed opportunity, given that it's a serious issue amongst young people.
I didn't mean for it to happen.
Number 2. Jenny's appearance.
Hope you don't expect a hug.
I don't expect anything anymore.
On the show, Little J's appearance becomes important on several occasions because of her resemblance to Serena. They are both tall and waif-like with long blonde hair, which means that, in a mask, they can be tough to tell apart.
Why don't we just skip all that and, go somewhere quiet to talk?
In the books, though, Jenny's appearance is described as being totally different. She is rather short and has very large breasts, allegedly because she took supplements when she was younger to make them grow.
It's been harder than I thought to keep up with schoolwork and the new spring social calendar and my new boyfriend.
Yeah, Asher, right?
She also has curly brown hair. In the show, Jenny idolizes Serena rather than Blair, and doesn't have quite the same social ladder climbing tendencies.
Hey, Blair. What do you want me to do with this stuff? I'll just leave them over there, that's fine. I left you another list.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Every fall, confident high school seniors transform into nervous college freshmen. They leave their parents' homes for the hallowed halls of higher education.
Blair, meet my dog, Monkey.
The title is great and all, but what I'd like more than anything is a little honesty for a change. From both of us.
Number 1. The Web of Relationships.
Just wish I could make her feel as badly as I feel right now.
You totally can.
In both the book and the show, romantic relationships abound, with many of the characters ending up tangled up in fleeting romances at one point or another.
Oh, for crying out loud, Humphrey.
XOXO.
In the books, though, the group was a little more willing to broaden their horizons and more frequently dated outside of their inner circle. Serena and Dan have a very brief fling, rather than a series-long infatuation. And Chuck and Blair have a mostly off-screen relationship that definitely isn't one of the major ones of the series.
Amazing out there.
I don't want this moment
In fact, in the books, Blair loses her virginity to Nate, as she had always planned.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.